Hey, what's going on, you guys? I'm here finally for a review, and this is going to be mostly a review because I don't want to recap the whole entire episode. Because, first of all, not everything was all that important. I'm just going to highlight like major points to this episode. I'm not going to give you a play by play like I usually do because the episode was entirely too long for that. I'm hoping to only be on camera right now for 15 minutes. We'll see how this goes. So, anyway, we're here. Um, you know, all in all, the season has been pretty good for a start. The only issue that I really had with this is that we didn't get enough of them using their powers as just to use their powers. I mean, yeah, we saw them using their powers to complete like daily chores. Like, I know the girl who can control water, like they were washing clothes and she was able to, like, take the water off of it to dry the clothes off and whatever. But we never really get to see them having any fun. And I mean, yeah, you're at war, you're fighting, whatever, but there are some still like some really there are some moments that you can have that are a little bit more positive and stuff. That was the only issue that I really had with the show and with the Singerverse in general. The whole story of the X-Men isn't all about turmoil and pain and sorrow. It's exhausting to watch a lot of the time. It's just the reason why I really don't even watch any of the X-Men movies anymore. Like, I watch them once or twice now and then just move on. I'm not really a fan of a lot of them. First Class was the only one that I really cared for a lot because they highlighted the aspect of having fun with your powers. Yeah, there was a war on with mutants and humans going on, but it wasn't the highlight of everything. It was just a major point. But you also had them being kids and being teenagers and having fun and just loving their mutant abilities, loving themselves as mutants. But anyway, moving along. Last couple of episodes have been kind of building up to this finale, and a few key things were happening. One, it was noted that Lorna's powers are becoming a little bit more, a little stronger, a little bit more dangerous. She's able to kind of control metal objects that are further away from her. Her range is expanded, and of course, the amount of power, the intensity, kind of the size of metal objects that she's able to actually control and mend and stuff. So that also, we have the Frost Sisters, the Stepford Cuckoos. Okay, they came in a couple of episodes ago to seek out the Mutant Underground's help because they need the muscle to their brains. They have this entire plot to infiltrate what they call the Humanity Today convention, and it's an entire convention dedicated to hating mutants, pretty much. It's a shame that they had kids there singing "America the Beautiful" on some "Make America Great Again" type bullshit. I didn't really understand what was going on with that. That was a little bit weird, and I definitely wouldn't have done it if I was one of them. But they're kids; they probably don't know any better, and they only know what their parents are teaching them, which is to hate. It's so sad. It's so sad. That's where racism starts, guys. Um, So we also get like this little backstory for Campbell, but it didn't really do anything for my spirit. Like, I didn't care anymore about him like I did Jace. Like, Jace had a real like situation. He lost his daughter. Fine, Campbell lost his brother to cystic fibrosis, but that in itself is indirectly it's very very indirectly related to mutants and what mutants have done. I feel like mutants really didn't do a gosh darn thing to him. It's just that he's all upset over how genetics kind of effed him over, and I'm like, it is what it is. Okay, you can't fight Mother Nature. You just can't. You can't. But that's exactly what he's trying to do, and he's going to find. Well, he did find out. He did find out. He found out today. Most of the episode was about them doing this infiltration on this on there were two main events because it was technically two episodes in one. So the main event of the first part of the episode was the infiltration of this convention, which obviously failed because you have people like Clarice and Marcos who are against the whole idea of even going in and doing all of this stuff, whereas Lorna is more for it. And we also see, there's mentions of Magneto and stuff as being Lorna's real daddy. Uh, Well, duh. But she kind of wants to deny the fact, but she can't deny it. And we see at the end of the episode, she's like pretty much turning into her father, which I'm really here for because we need like a Magneto character that's going to be completely radical. Yeah, we need that. Another thing worth noting is how opposite Andy and Lauren are. Last few episodes they've kind of been butting heads ever since the whole situation with Sonya, with her losing her life because they didn't do what Campbell said, and it's partially them blaming themselves for it, and partially them wanting to fight back. At least Andy wanting to fight back. He's a little bit more militant, and I think I even mentioned in a previous episode that they would be on opposite sides, and Andy would be more Magneto, while Lauren would be more Professor X. I feel like neither side is completely correct about their ideals. I feel like it's easier for us to say one side or the other, but in all honesty, back in the day, a Magneto and a Professor X would have worked better together than apart. Apart, it's kind of like just, two opposing forces trying to reach the same goal, whereas together they could come up with, you know, fairly plain ideas. Obviously, they're going to butt heads a lot, but I feel like it's a collection of both of their ideals that kind of make it what it is. This whole, this whole fight for equality and mutant equality and peace and everything. Building up to that, also they have Sentinel Services going after Reed's mother, and that's because of the fact that she obviously had contact with Otto years ago. They're contacting everybody that's had contact with Otto at any given time, and they even go after the mother, who has no idea what's going on. Honestly, she didn't even know that her husband, well, her ex-husband, she had no idea that he was a mutant. She had no idea that Reed was a mutant at one point until he started his research and stuff, and that's the reason why he got sick. Like, she just found all of this stuff out at once, and it was kind of overwhelming for her. But she did give us some important information about this woman. Her name is Madeline Risman, okay, and she's apparently somebody who worked with Otto on his research. And she thought that they were having an affair or whatever, but that's not really what was going on, at least, to my knowledge anyway. But there is some looking into where she's concerned. So hopefully, starting the next season, we'll get some more information about this Madeline Risman person and kind of her role in it as well. The infiltration situation didn't go as planned necessarily. They got really close, but of course something always ends up happening, and then they have to end up like escaping for their lives. This time Campbell escaped because they were able to get in there. They were able to infiltrate using this guy who was already going to the conference, to the convention. And he was supposed to meet with somebody who's connected to the Frosts, who actually happens to be a mutant and on their side. It's like an inside concept. He's an insider who is kind of like a double agent sort of person or whatever. So they're able to get in there, and what happens is they get in, they ambush him coming out of the elevator. But then another elevator comes up, and it's the kids that were singing "America the Beautiful." It's the choir kids. They get out of the elevator, and he grabs one of them up and pretty much uses a child as a human shield. I was completely taken out by that. I was just like, really? I was like, you guys expect me to feel sorry for this guy for losing his brother to cystic fibrosis when he's grabbing up children and using them as human shields in order to escape with his own life? Like, what if Marcos decided to attack? What if he didn't see the kid? What if he decided to attack anyway? Which obviously he would not do. But what if he did? That child's life would now, that child's death would now be on your conscience, which he probably has not. He doesn't have a conscience. Let's be honest about that. He doesn't have a conscience. If you're able to put a child's life in danger like that without even like giving it a second thought, I have no type of respect for you. I have no sympathy for you. I couldn't care less, and I really didn't care anything about his death in this episode. Hopefully he is dead. Let's just be honest about that. He probably isn't, but hopefully he is. Okay, the second part of the episode kind of goes into a little bit more of the aftermath of the infiltration. Okay, Frost sisters are pissed off. I love them. I'm just gonna say that I love them. I love them. I love Lorna. They are some badass bitches. I love them. But anyway, moving on from that, they know how to get the job done and do whatever it takes to get things done, to get results. And that's what I like about them the most. They don't play around. These other ones over here trying to be peaceful and everything. No, 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 no. Your people have been killed over and over and over again. Okay, they're not getting you. They're not giving you anything. You need to take charge and take what's yours. Anyway, so the second part of the episode is more about Sentinel Services tracking down the Mutant Underground's headquarters. Okay, they go to where they were at the insurance because they report that they saw the Strucker kids there, and then the rest of them came out with the grandmother to escape. So they bring this new hound. I hate the fact that they call them hounds because they're pretty much just equating them to like common dogs. It's just so sad. It's so sad. It's these people just working against their will to kill other mutants when they're mutants themselves. Anyway, so they use some tracker mutants to trace their whereabouts, to track them down, and they actually find where the headquarters is, and then they mount their attack. They move in. The mutant underground, they decide to evacuate, and they come up with the idea to go in through the vault. Since the vault is partially underground, they can go under. They can escape through the back of the vault underground, and then out through the back of the building. So at first they're not really able to break through the vault because it's like reinforced, the foundation and everything. So they get shattered to kind of rot the wall, and so they can break through it. So they're able to clear a path to outside. But at this moment, Reed had gotten together a couple of the kids who were doing the mutant, the combat training with Lorna. He gets some of them together so that they can push back the Sentinel Services. It works up until they bring out the hounds. So once the hounds come inside, Andy and Lauren, they have their hands together and they bring the building down in a large explosion. We don't see exactly what happens, like the aftermath of that. We just know that they did make it out safely. So I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, I would have shown like everything afterwards too. I mean, literally everything exploded. I don't know how many Sentinel Services officers got out. I know Jace did because we see him later on, but I don't know how many of the other ones were able to actually escape the premises. Big scene at the end. Okay, Lorna, she goes out there with two of the sisters. Of course, Marcos is upset about this, and they go and follow her. Lorna goes to the to stop Campbell and Montez at the airport, and they're about to take off. And as they're leaving the runway, whatever. Marcos and Blink, and John, they come. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you don't have to do this, and think about your child and everything." She's like, "I am thinking about my child, and I'm thinking about this." And he's like, "We don't want our child to live in a world where blah blah blah." I'm like, she's gonna do what she's gonna do regardless of what you guys say. Come on, get out of here. Come on. I was like, Lorna, just do what you do, girl. Just go ahead, do it. And she did it. And she broke. Oh gosh, the display of power was on a Magneto level, and I was here for it. She yanked the engines right off that plane as it was taking off, and it said, "Oof," and it blew up and everything. I was like, ah. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm here for the destruction of Campbell and Montez because I just don't care about them. I don't. Yes. Shout out to Jack Kirby. They had a sign up there for the lot that the Nashville safe house was in. So yeah, there we go. Sentinel Services executives. They're the people who kind of fund the program. They're meeting with Jace, and they are trying to scold him like some child and whatever, and basically trying to cover themselves for all of the damages to property, for all of the all the mess that has kind of occurred because of it. And Jace is like, "We've lost so many people out in the field, but you guys sit here as cowards behind your desks and delegate." He's like, "You guys can continue on with your bureaucracy, but I'm out of it, I'm quit, and all this stuff. So Jace quit Sentinel Services. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he quit, fighting against mutants. No, that doesn't mean that exactly. But I feel like, he might be, he might be a little bit more militant now. But I feel like without the, support of Sentinel Services behind him, it might be easier to bring him to the other side. I don't know. That's just what I'm putting out there into the universe. Don't take my word for it. Okay. So Nashville. Now we're at pretty much the last scene. Okay. Well, it is the last scene. It is the last scene. Yeah. So they are talking about rebuilding the Mutant Underground. Sage is like kind of against this. She's like, we have no resources. We build it up again. Shadow does say that we build it up again, and they'll just tear it down again. It's going to be a continuous cycle like it has been. We need to think about something else that we can do or whatever. And who comes but Miss Lorna and one of the Frost sisters. They come in there. Lorna is in this nice, what is a leather jacket with these like studs on it. I'm like, okay, girl, get it. She's giving us fashion in the last scene, trying to look badass. I don't know what Miss Frost was wearing, or Miss Cuckoo, or whoever you want to call her today. She had on some type of bathrobe. I don't know why we believe that bathrobes are fashion. She literally had it wrapped around, and she had the tie. I mean, I guess it's high fashion. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that they came there looking like two badass bitches, and they rallied with the people who kind of had like this, similar ideals of rebuilding the Hellfire Club in order to really help mutants. Well, in their own way. And Lorna's like, I'm not down for this BS anymore, okay? I'm doing what I'm doing, and anybody who wants to join me can do so. So you had Sage got up, a couple of other people. Of course, that guy, the bartender guy, of course, he got up. And Andy, and of course, Kate and Reed are like, you're not taking my son, and I'm like, he's gonna go anyway. So he does go, and of course Lauren wants to stay with the rest of the family and with the rest of the Mutant Underground. And they always mention how they used to play X-Men. He's like, well, you know what, we're not kids playing X-Men anymore. Like, this is the real deal, and I'm trying to go over here because they're actually fighting for what's right. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I called it a long time ago. I called it. So yeah, Lauren stays with MU. And Andy goes with Lorna. He pretty much idolizes Lorna anyway, because he like missed her the entire time that they were gone, that she was gone, and they were dealing with the whole situation at the headquarters. So I knew he was gonna go over to that side anyway, but I didn't think that they would. Well, no, I didn't know that they would split up. I called it again. I called it. Anyway, so yeah, they're rebuilding the Hellfire Club, and pretty much puts everybody to opposite sides at this point. It's gonna be like X-Men against Brotherhood again, except it's gonna be Mutant Underground and new Hellfire Club. So let's see how that goes. As far as what I want to say for next season, I hope we get some more cameos from some like well-known mutants, like not even just like X-Men, but Brotherhood members, or like just notable people in the X-Men universe. So anyway, that's gonna be it. What did I think about? It was a good closer to the season, and it was action packed. There was lots of good scenes in there, but hopefully next season they think about changing it up a little bit. Dynamics between the characters, kind of how they use their powers when they're not fighting for, justice or peace or both or whatever. I hope we get more of that. And of course, I want to see what happens between Andy and Lauren being on opposite sides now, and of course with Lorna and Marcos now being on opposite sides. It's definitely going to be an interesting season next season, so stay tuned. I will stay tuned, and let's watch together. Anyway, that's going to be it for this review slash recap slash whatever you think it's going to be. I don't even know what I'm going to title the video. I'm just probably going to put the episode and say review. Anyway, that's going to be it. I hope everybody has a great day. Look out later. I'm probably going to do a live stream, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this, as well as some other issues going on. And that will be Tilsad's Take, Chapter 2. Take care, guys.